What's going on, guys, and welcome back to our Surviving Java series. We are now in December, which means it is Christmas time on the server. Well, sort of. It's literally like the 1st of December recording this, so not too much for Christmas time, but we have got one more of our towers done, which means we've got one more left to go. And I think today's episode we're going to be concentrating on something at the actual base. If you're wondering about my hotbar, I put together a little texture pack that's got the like Santa Claus outfit. It's also got like an ice warrior armor as well as elf armor, and we've got fairy wings on, I do believe. I didn't actually create any of the skins. I have edited them, and then also combined skins from multiple different texture packs that I managed to find. Some were massively out of date, so I've had to sort of go through it. And yeah, we've got a few different textures on our pickaxes, our axe, and our sword. Just a little Christmassy touch, and I did edit my skin, so now we have got a snowman type thing on top of our head, and yeah, just a little bit more Christmassy. Although I've already been killed once for this skin, for the head skin, so I'm not too sure how confident I am wearing it. Like literally within about an hour of having it on, Jack murdered my face and took my head. So, oh my god, that was so bad. Forgot I took my armor off. Yep, that's a silly mistake. So what we want to do today is work on our storage room, because I keep on running into the same problem time and time again. After doing a pretty big project, I end up with something like this. Now we've just got so much random crap in most of these. A lot of it is ice from where I harvested a bunch, but yeah, it's every single time after a project it takes me a good like 20 to 30 minutes to come back down here and sort through it all and put everything away, and yeah, it's not overly fun. So my plan is, I already dug this out ages ago, and this has been a long time coming in order, and it's been on the board for ages. So finished storage room, but we are going to be going a little bit overkill. We're going to be putting in a multi-item sorting system behind our main storage unit, and then after that it's going to then be going up to a deep storage sort of unit area, which, because we're going to be completely submerged in water, it's not going to be overly difficult to do. But I am going to have to clear like probably about another 8 or 10 layers above this in order to get it all in place. And then what I'm thinking of also doing is actually getting rid of all of the water whilst I build the storage ring, because yeah, trying to work with redstone when your chests are flooded is just, I can't see it being overly easy, which means I'm probably going to have to take down all of the item frames, because they're going to get knocked off once the water gets sucked out, I'm assuming. I know that they'll get knocked off when I put the water back in, but I can't see it being such an easy task trying to work around these. But it's something I'm definitely, I don't know. Like, we're going to have the shulker unloader here, so then it's going to be going clockwise around our system. I'm going to have sorting around this back end here, through that section there, this section here, which means I'm going to have to do some magic of how to get the items up and down behind that section, and then sorting on this section. This central section is not going to be, you know, I may as well have it sorted, because I've got like the food items here, and it's just a case that I will have to keep all of these. You know what? No, I'll keep this not sorted, because sorting out the arrows and food, that's no problem. I'll probably remove the food and put it probably like on the left here or somewhere on the right, because I do want all of this sorted, and I want this for non-stackables, which means our saddles and totems will probably come here, and then probably saddles we can fill up here and probably fill some shulkers with, because we've got a lot of saddles and I hate throwing stuff away. But yeah, what I'm going to do is clear out the top section there by about 10-11 blocks, because we want to put the deep storage, and we're using shulker deep storage units, and I've got designs for every section. The main sorter behind our chest, the framework is pretty much Tango Text multi-item sort of system with the timer, but I've done the redstone differently, so I'm not having a timer under each section. I've gotten rid of the drop of 8. It's just like I said, I think it's easier if I just show you what I've got going on. So if you give me 2 secs, and we can hop over into my redstone test world. Okay, now that we're over here, now this is the multi-item sorter that I've got in mind. I'm not too sure how it's going to work, because I don't think I've got this middle wall in place. That's something that I should really check. No, I do not have it in place. Oh, which means that design's not going to work, which means I may end up having to reorganize all of my chests, because I sort of designed this in a way that I need that middle section free. It does mean moving, we're going to have a 1 block gap in between this section here, and then another 1 block gap between there, and another 1 block. Oh my god. How many would we have to shift it over? So that would be 1, and then that would be 1, 2, so that would be 3, 4. So, oh, this is going to be a nightmare, isn't it? Because I'm going to have to do the same for this side as well, which means reorganising pretty much everything. And I don't fancy redesigning it either, because the redstone circuits, the timer circuits, they come around and lock the hoppers from the sides, which means we're going to have interrupting signals from this side to this side, which means we sort of need that 1 block gap, which means there's no choice, but I sort of have to do that. So yeah, what I'm going to do is probably start recording again tomorrow, because this definitely is not going to be as easy as I once thought. Once I've got the chests segregated properly, then we'll probably start working out the kinks. Alright then guys, so around about 4 hours later and we've got the main chunk of our redstone in place behind all of our chests that we wanted. Now obviously we've not got these ones done, but I am planning on just having water either side just so it matches symmetrically with the rest of it. I was planning on having like furnaces and stuff like either side, but I think I might have them embedded in the floor going around instead. We still haven't started on the deep storage units, and I'm getting a little bit concerned because if we bring up our info there in the top left, we have just exceeded 1200 tile entities in the loaded area around us, which is not fantastic, but I'm not noticing like massive frame dips or anything. Like I'm still getting, what is that, like 170 facing the majority of this stuff, and I'm not getting no jerkiness or anything, but obviously the system isn't running, so expect that to change at some point. The main item sorter, which sorts the shulkers, non-stackables and the singles, is now in place, and then it feeds down into our shulker unloader, which then feeds down to our output chests, which are going to be embedded through a trapdoor in our floor, which is alright. Our input chest is all the way up there, which is good, so all of this back here is going to be hidden, so I'm not overly concerned with the way that it looks, but it looks like an absolute mess of hoppers and redstone, and that's because, well, it is really. So we are going to just give it a quick test run. Obviously we've not got the water columns in space, and we haven't sorted out all of the chests, so we are not planning on these items actually getting sorted, because that's going to take a lot more work and we're pretty far off from doing that. But let's just say throw in a few random items. That's one thing that I did not consider, is that the shulkers may have non-stackables, so but that would end up going all the way through the system and back to our output anyway as an overflow. So yeah, it's alright if we have non-stackables go through the system, like the initial chests. If we put buckets and stuff in, that's the main concern, to separate them, because if a bucket comes into this or normal items come into this, then it will break the entire system, which is what we was trying to counteract. So if we break you and we find a way up to our input chest, can we reach you from over here? Thank you. So we want, say, some stackables as well as a shulker and a non-stackable, and then we should have the shulker come out just over here, and then it should empty the shulker, kick out the shulker, and the shulker should come into one of these chests. Yeah, and then the rest of the items are obviously going to be filtering through. That broke really quickly for the amount of items that was in it. Oh, but it is empty, so happy days there. Our sword is there, and then the rest of the items, we have had to put in a mini elevator here, and it's very, very bog standard and simple, to be honest with you. It's just to get the items from down here underneath the shulker unloader back up into the sorter, and yeah, that's all of our stackable items. So it's all working, and it's all working as intended, which is honestly quite a surprise to me. Now, the only concern I'm having at the moment is the amount of tile entities, because each one of these, if we go up and try our best not to die, there we go. How many more tile entities are there? So we got the, I'm not sure if barrels are counted as a tile entity. It's got an inventory, so I would consider it is. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it'll be 10 more per each unit, and we're having 16, so it'll be, it's not an over, it's about another 160 on top of what we've already got, which is about 1380, just shy of 1400. We'll probably top 1400 by me doing the joining chains, and I also need to run the end line, which is here, into another bubble elevator to go up and around the deep storage, because the items are going to be going clockwise along here, then up a bubble elevator, and then going anti-clockwise around the deep storage units. And I thought it was going to be a lot more than that. I thought we was going to top like over 2,000 tile entities, which would be, well, if you add the item frames that we're probably going to have for marking the chairs, we may well do that. But yeah, for the time being, I think we're doing alright. Now, I'll probably do a time lapse carrying on doing the deep storage units, but after that, we'll probably have a cut and I'll come back after I've got everything sorted and the cosmetics are pretty much done, because that's going to be a really tedious process because I have no idea how I want it to look. And obviously sorting out all of the chests into the right locations is going to take some time as well, because I'm not 100% landed. All of these ones over here are empty. They're going to be pretty much the same as they were, but again, moving all of the stuff from these to these, and I'm going to have to put up scaffolding to do that, as well as sort out the bubble elevators. So I need to get some kelp, which luckily we've got a kelp farm. But yeah, I thought I'd just bring you back and give you a little bit of an update on how we're doing. Redstone getting extremely crazy and well overcomplicated for what it is, but it does mean that we can just literally throw everything that we've got into a chest for it to then be sorted. And that is my phone. I don't even know what that sort of alert is for, to be honest with you. I should really check. Hopefully I'll catch you back. I doubt if it will be today. It'll probably be tomorrow, which means this video will likely go out late. I've already had 2 weeks without uploading, and that's because Christmas, IRL stuff, you know, shit comes up. So I guess I'll catch you back in a bit. Alright then guys, so it's a good few days later and I've managed to work out pretty much all of the bugs. Now, that painting, I'm not sure if I showed it in a clip before, that was done by Elliot and it looks absolutely amazing. It's a Link from Zelda, I believe, with the... I forgot the name of the thing in front of it. Something I should really look up at some point, but yeah, no idea what it's called, but I think I really do like it, and it's actually given me sort of inspirations to do sort of map designs at some point or another. It's definitely something I want to work on in order to finish this room, but that's going to be a very, very long and overdrawn process of having to do that. But there was a couple of changes that I did have to make to the redstone mechanics, and also I've half slabbed the entire floor because the amount of slimes that I was getting spawning was just absolutely insane. There's only a couple of little changes I had to make with the redstone, and one of them, we can get up a little bit, was the bottom section here, basically where you had the item getting pulled by the hopper and then pushed straight over, because it pushes a lot quicker than it pulls apparently in this circumstance, that it was actually missing out the bottom right chest of every single quadrant. So I had to put in another redstone repeater just on the other side to obviously intermittently lock the next hopper along, so then that wouldn't happen, and that fixed that problem. Also ran into a problem where it was also missing every top left hand chest, so I changed the top redstone. Instead of having this line actually came out back one further and had repeaters hitting blocks, but instead we've just done the redstone dust, which will then intermittently lock this hopper, as opposed to locking this hopper where the items are coming in, because obviously you can't really slow that down when items are coming up in the bubble elevators, and that seemed to fix that problem. Also went around and I did put composters above all of our empty hopper chains just to try to reduce lag, and then also a lit it all up with sea lanterns, so then the lighting updates from the redstone going on and off wasn't going to be too much of an issue. Plus, it also prevents mob spawns, and also it does make it look pretty cool. I am going to obviously do back and behind here because I'm going to be decorating it all. Now, I'm not too sure if I want to call today's episode a wrap after I do a demonstration of this thing, but actually, I know there's a bunch of resources that... Let's just grab a couple of empty shulkers. Because where we was doing the kelp farm upgrade, I've not actually tidied up all the resources from it. So we've got all of these guys just over here. That's still... dolphins. I really want to use them so that they can be useful for me, but as it is at the moment, they're just really goddamn annoying. So let's just get a bunch of stone and then a bunch of whatever else. I know kelp we haven't actually got room for in our system at the moment, so I need to sort that out. There are a few items that obviously we need to sort out deep storage for, like stone bricks. I know that I've maxed out the double chest, so I may actually have to sort out another double chest for them. The stone bricks as well as the kelp, I don't know what to do. I may just void the kelp because we've got a massive kelp farm, and to be honest with you, you never really need it other than what we're using it for, which is to fuel stuff. Let's just grab all of this garbage, like a soap. And then, you know, you can go in, you just got to make sure that the stone that we put in is not the filler stone, otherwise it'll just go everywhere that we don't really want it to go. So, like so. And this is pretty much what I've been doing in order to sort out all of the chests that was actually in our storage room. Is like the main bulks of it, where I was obviously sorting... Is it this way? Yeah, this way. As I was obviously sorting out the items and placing them all. So a lot of them I did place manually, but then the majority of it I did just throw straight into the sorter. And then what we can actually do is just to make sure that our non-stackables filter is also working. And we can show you all in action. So if we throw that in first and then throw in all of this crap, like so. And you as well. Yeah, so the non-stackables will obviously get filtered through and then come back down to here. The normal single items will go through here, and I actually had to put in a buffer chest here because when I was having two separate lines in, because we've got the shulker emptying as well as the stackables from that coming in simultaneously, this will actually fill up a lot quicker than what it will be kicking into the system, especially if I've not got the system switched on. So yeah, make sure you've got the system switched on. And as you can see, even with it running, I'm not getting any tank in FPS. If I bring up the little H thing, I'm still getting over 120 odd frames per second with all of this running. So it's not too much of an issue, and I think the maximum amount of normal entities client side we can get is around about 350 to 400, because basically when they are going up in the water streams, the bubble columns like they are, although it's an entity, it's only an entity for a very short amount of time before it hits another hopper chain. So you've only got a maximum maybe 1 or 2 per actual column, which is around about maybe 50 or 60 that you get added onto a normal entity count for the area. Our total entities is just shy of like 1600 though, which is a little bit insane, and it's still not affecting us like remotely at all. But yeah, I had to put in a buffer chest here because this hopper will eventually get full just like it is, and then it will start backing up bit by bit. And when it backs up so far and it backs up this one, it will actually break the non-stackable item filter, and then you'll end up just getting a whole bunch of random crap into this one. So yeah, you've got to be careful about that. And then also had to set up a big buffer system on this. Now this was mainly because of the amount of items I was throwing into it all at the same time. And yeah, so because I had like, what is it, like 22 double chests or something like that here, that I was sort of throwing into the system and letting it filter through, because a lot of it was for the deep storage units. So we've got a big buffer for the elevators, for all the stuff that comes out the shulker boxes, and it'll feed into their shulker boxes, will then get broken and put into the empty shulker box one here, which is all happy days. And then our deep storage at top is all sort of done and dusted, and we've got I think it's 17 empty shulker boxes in each of our filters. So diorite, andesite, sand, sandstone, We've also got cobblestone and stone. And then what happens is that when this will then fill up, all of them are color coded as well. So you've got the sand, sandstone, the same on that side, blackstone, blackstone bricks. And then the shulkers will get broken once they're full and put into here. So then we get full shulkers of the resources that we've actually got. And yeah, so a lot of sandstone. Oh, and I did not mean to do that because I end up picking up all the items coming into the system. So sand, so yeah, when it comes to picking up mass resources like this, it's going to be a lot easier for us. And I've actually picked up a bunch of that crap, which I didn't mean to do, so you can go back into there. Yeah, so it's all running perfectly fine. It's now literally a case where this redstone clock is actually going to be hidden under the floor, because our floor is obviously going to be another 2 blocks higher than this, and we can have a lever sitting on top of here with a trap door in the center-ish area in order to turn the system on and off, because obviously we don't want this constantly ticking. Either that or I link it up to a pressure plate, because this system, it can't really break when it's unloaded unless you load more items into the system than the buffer chest back there can hold. And yeah, so you've got a maximum double chest up there, as well as the double chest here, all of them hoppers here, and if you're running stuff through shulkers, then you've got all of these double chests. So that's going to be the equivalent of over 8 shulkers that you can have running into the system and leave it and not really worry or be concerned that it's going to get sort of overflowed and broken in any way. It's very, very hard to break the system, considering it's sort of set up and separated into different segments, because you've got the deep storage units which run independently of like their own accord. Of every single unit is its own separate little system, and then you've got the main bulk storage, and each segment again is its own little segment. So it's very hard, and it's all running off of the same night clock. So yeah, it's all pretty much done and dusted. It's now literally just the decorating phase, which I'm probably going to do in between this episode and the next, because it's going to take some time, because I have no idea how I'm going to decorate it. I know I'm going to have the floor coming up to this point here, and then I don't know if I want the item frames on the glass or on the actual chest. I'm thinking the glass though, just so it's easier to access the chest for when we want to get resources, because yeah, trying to constantly get into the chest when there's an item frame on it, obviously not moving your cursor helps when you're jumping up and down. But I'm also going to have to do a little bit more organising as to what I want where, because we've got a bunch of chests. Like I think the bottom 4, so you've got 8, 16, that's 32 double chests worth of storage, which I've just got filled, like filler places. Like I think there's 1 or 2 that's being used that are for the mini blocks or something, which is I know somewhere around here. But yeah, other than that, you've just got the colour ones at the top, so I may extend these down for using the coloured glass and colour concretes and stuff like that, rather than having all of the same type of colour ones into the same double chest. Because when it comes to stuff like white, I use a lot of white glass, a lot of white wall, a lot of white concrete, and end up having to have shulkers for with that resource within the double chest, which isn't so bad because it's still easier for me to get hold of the resource in order to use it. But organizational value, if someone wanted something, I'd have to say go to this chest and there should be a shulker within that chest, but make sure you fill that slot in that chest. So make sure, yeah. So that's one thing about the system, is that you sort of have to make sure that there's something in every single slot in every single chest at all times. So it's something to get used to, which I am used to because just how I usually have the chest set out anyway. But there are some of them which could be expanded. Like I know we've got coal coming into the system. We're maxed out on coal, but we may double up the line so we can have coal ore taking up another line there, and move kelp to a separate one so that we can have more kelp plants with the kelp blocks. That's our mob drops chest, which can obviously be extended and multiplied. This is our passive one, our valuables one, which isn't terrible, but yeah, it's just like we've got iron ore there, but we've also got a iron chest, which is somewhere up and around here, if I can remember correctly. Rail, redstone components, ice. Oh wow, our ice is getting filled. Glass, your books and whatnot. Snow, lighting. You're not meant to be in there. It's random brick and brack. What did I do? Oh, that's my iron chest. Yeah, so we've got like stacks of iron ore and iron blocks and heavy pressure plates and stuff in there. So we have like got separate locations for the same resource, which is a little bit annoying. So I will have to do a little bit more reorganizing once the place is decorated and flooded, because as you can see, the scaffolding, it's really getting annoying to have to get around here. But yeah, that's the storage and sorting system all fully done and dusted, and oh my god, it took some time. Like I think I got total around about 16 hours worth of replay footage to speed up and go through for time lapses for you lot, so hopefully it comes out alright. And hopefully you've enjoyed this very, very redstone tech heavy sort of episode. And hopefully those who prefer the decorating ones wasn't disappointed, but hopefully you'll get your fix of it for next episode after I've decorated this place and we can move on to something else. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.